Hi, I'm Beck and welcome to a video where I discuss some strong female characters. What do I mean basically before I get into these recommendations by a strong female character? Because I've looked at female characters that I have loved, and it tends to be characters that, while they might be able to wield a sword and take you on in a duel, a strong female character to me is also somebody that is emotionally switched on. So they have an intelligence to them, they've got a vulnerability to them, and they're not afraid to feel their feelings and also communicate those feelings, and also stick up for and be loyal to their friends and loved ones. So the characters that I am going to discuss with you and recommend books to you about are characters that display these qualities, that emotional intelligence, that toughness, yes, but also the realization of who they are as a person and a character, and how they have deployed that to become the best versions of themselves that they can be, and influence the people around them to do the same thing. Firstly, I've got one of my favorite books of all time, which is Silver Under Nightfall. Now, Xiao Song is a vampire court noble, so you would expect her to be quite polite and presentable, but she has a iron to her, like a toughness, and she's also incredibly physically strong, given that she is a vampire. And when you look further into her family history as well, there is a depth to her and the way she interacts with people. So the reason that she's on this list for strong female characters is because, yes, she could take you in a sword fight, and, you know, not even a sword fight, she'd just kind of whap you with her hand and you'd be gone. She's really, really strong, but I admire her because she doesn't hesitate to take what she wants, but she also gives people choices, she talks to them, and she allows that growth and that trust to build between characters that she respects. So because she respects people, they respect her back, and because she is so resolute in what she wants, even the characters that don't like her kind of fear her, and they have to respect the veneer she's putting on for people. So she can step forward and, yes, be that strong female character, but she is strong in the sense that she is layered, and I love seeing those layers and how she interacts with not only Remy, who is a vampire hunter in here, but also with her husband. And I just loved seeing the politics develop in here as well, and just how she treated other women in the story, and how she almost gathered people to her because of this trust and the capacity to build. That is what a strong female character should be. It is just honestly what a strong character should be. If you have a really strong core and you know who you are, which Xiao really does. She's also captured not only her husband's but Remy's heart as well, and it's just fantastic and funny and beautiful to see. She's honest and genuine, and also unhesitating and cutthroat, and I love it. Then we have a character who is a bit more demure just based on her age and position. So I want to talk about Parable of the Sower, and Lauren Alamina is the character I want to discuss because she's our protagonist, and in this society it's a post-apocalyptic community, and drugs have massively impacted survival to the point where the people on these drugs have caused worldwide havoc, and now the survivors are forced to live in small encampments. You can still access like water and food, but it's all very scarce, and if you leave your encampment, it is very likely that you will be killed for the things that you are carrying with you. And Lauren is looking here at existential like humanity and hope, and placing herself within that and going, well, I don't want life to just be about survival, life should be about connection as well. And based on all of the gruesome and traumatic things that Lauren ends up seeing over the course of this book, just the way that she approaches people and how she is not only strategic but also emotionally empathetic and available, the way she approaches people and discusses things with them is a very clever but also respectful way to almost pull people to her side and cause them to respect her without being feared. And she's building a religion based on nature. Her father was a preacher, and so she doesn't really subscribe to all of the things that he is necessarily talking about, but she does think of a higher power and a way of connection, and that is what she is developing in this book. Now, it's a book that is about a found religion, and I'm not really a person who reads books about religion. So if you're thinking, oh, maybe I'll give this one a miss because it's about religion, it's more about people and connection and empathy and survival. And religion is kind of like a thread that joins everything together. It is much more about Lauren's strength of character. It was one of my favorites of last year, and I think more people should read it because it is one of the best post-apocalyptic stories that I think I've ever read. But then we are going to pivot a little bit into fantasy, and that is with Legends and Lattes. Now, I've picked this because the main character, Viv, she is like an 8-foot tall orc, and she used to be a mercenary. So yes, she was a strong female character because she could literally take you down in battle. I think she is now stronger for what she has decided to do. And that is to change the course of her whole life, go away from being a mercenary and go instead into this city where no one knows what coffee is. And she's starting this cafe just from scratch because she discovered this thing that she loves and she wants to share it with everyone else. And I think that's a beautiful thing. I have so much respect for this found family story and the way that Viv builds and trusts people that come into her life. I think it's just magical and sweet. And Viv recognizes that she is large, she is an orc, and she can be intimidating. But because of her demeanor and the way she treats people, people tend to have her back in return. And it breaks down the stereotype of how she's viewed and how she looks to people when she deliberately interacts a certain way. And I just love that she understands how she could be perceived to people. And she's like, I need to hang up my sword and start this coffee shop. I'm a different person to what I once was. I am actively choosing change, which is honestly just a terrifying thing to do. To suddenly just uproot yourself and go and do something entirely new and different is really brave, and I would say arguably very strong too, and I have a lot of respect for Viv. Next up, I've got Heta as a strong female character, and she is from the Lord of Stariel. So she is, I think, the second or third youngest daughter of the Lord of Stariel, and he has ended up passing away. He wasn't a very nice father, which is why they often clashed, and she moved away to pursue art and acting, and now she's got to come back obviously for his funeral and also for the ceremony of the new bestowing of the Lord of Stariel. So the Lord is bestowed by the land. There is a gemstone and a ritual, and whoever holds the gemstone when it lights up is the next Lord. She gets a little bit of power bestowed upon her, and with that power she recognizes that she has the capacity to push people and just shut her family down and say, no, I don't want you to do that, especially with the family who have not treated her very nicely. But she has the emotional intelligence and just generally the smarts to go, I know that this is a petty way to do things and I am not going to shut that person down, even though I really want to. So I have a lot of respect for Heta. She is not only funny and clever, she was also incredibly understanding of where her knowledge gaps were and willing to approach people and ask questions. And I think that willingness to learn and grow just as a character and as a person, I think is a fantastic quality. I think sometimes, yeah, she's a little bit flawed, but that makes her even better to me because she's not going to know the answers to everything. She's not going to make the best decisions all the time, but she's trying her best and she's recognizing different things that she lacks and needs to make up for in order to fulfill the hand that she's been given. It was a lot of fun. It was surprising. I just enjoyed it. And I think more people should read this book and just enjoy Heta. She was a delight. And then lastly, I have another one of my favorites, Wolf Song by TJ Klune. The character that I want to talk about is Elizabeth Bennet, and she is the mother of the Bennet family. And you know, this book follows Ox, and he lives across the road from the Bennet family. He runs into them and they kind of bring him into their fold after his father leaves and he feels a bit unmoored. The Bennets are obviously werewolves. Ox takes a little while to figure this out, and it's just very wholesome. And what could be a story with a lot of fear and dominance actually isn't, despite there being alphas and werewolf families in it. I have a lot of respect for Elizabeth because, like Xiaodan's song in Silver Under Nightfall, she could just tear you apart with her hand. She is incredibly powerful, but she gives you the power of choice. And because she empowers people by trusting them, by listening to them, by respecting them and being vulnerable herself, she gives a lot of space for people to reflect that and do it back to her. And she is like the background emotional support of the Bennet family as a pack. And I just love her because she's so resolute and so supportive. And she just naturally brings people into the fold of the Bennet family by being respectful and inclusive and just chatty. And a character that is a werewolf who can turn around and rip an enemy werewolf's throat out and then also like bake you Sunday lunch. She is remarkable, and so is all the Bennet family, to be honest. But there ends my discussion and appreciation of strong female characters. If you have any below that you would like to recommend, do let me know because I'm always on the lookout for emotionally intelligent, strong female characters. Wielding a sword is definitely a plus, so all recommendations welcome. But thank you so much for watching this video. I'll come chat to you down below in the comments and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.